we go. Prepare yourself for a deep dive into some of the most intriguing motorcycles owned by Tom Cruise. Hello everyone and welcome to this exhilarating look at Tom Cruise's top secret motorcycle collection. Don't forget to like and subscribe right now if you love hearing about epic machines with jaw-dropping specs. Tom Cruise isn't just a Hollywood A-lister who scales skyscrapers, clings to jets, and leaps out of planes. He's also an absolute motorhead who has amassed a dream garage of two-wheeled beasts. Let's begin by unveiling one of the sleekest Italian beauties in Tom's possession, the Ducati 999R. Ducati, an iconic Italian manufacturer, has dazzled the motorcycle world since the mid-20th century with their blend of performance and artistry. Released in 2003, the 999R was a limited-run masterpiece. Only 200 units were produced, making it incredibly exclusive. That rarity alone might be reason enough for Cruise to snatch one up. But its real charm lies in its powerful Testastretta engine. This particular V-twin powerhouse cranks out roughly 139 horsepower and 79.7 pound-feet of torque, letting the bike rocket up to a top speed of around 179 miles per hour. Imagine weaving through traffic or performing a big screen stunt on this kind of machine. Tom snagged his own 999R notably in a sleek gray color for his 46th birthday. Because you know when you're Tom Cruise, you don't just gift yourself socks or a bottle of cologne, you treat yourself to a rare Ducati that can do a quarter mile in about 10.6 seconds. Of course, if you think all Tom's bikes are track-oriented, you'd be mistaken. He also has plenty of appreciation for more versatile bikes, such as the 2012 Honda CRF450X. If you watch the sci-fi flick Oblivion, you might recall a futuristic motorcycle that zoomed across stark landscapes, looking all sleek and otherworldly. Underneath that space-age shell was a very real CRF450X. A single-cylinder enduro machine packing a 449cc engine, producing roughly 44.8 horsepower and 31.7 pound-feet of torque. That combination allows it to reach about 105 miles per hour, quite respectable for an off-road focused ride. Honda's CRF lineup is well known for delivering reliability and off-road capability, so it's no wonder the producers chose it for Oblivion. After filming Wrapped, the bike was gifted to Tom as a birthday present. He basically took home a piece of cinematic history. And yes, it still has that futuristic movie skin, giving it a distinct personality among the more classic bikes in his garage. Now, as we move on to the next legendary machine, keep your ears perked. We're about to get into one of Cruise's most talked about purchases. And if you're enjoying this breakdown so far, remember to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more extreme collections from the world's most fascinating celebrities. Because the next ride is none other than the Confederat HellCat, a boutique American creation that has become the talk of the motorcycle world. Confederat Motorcycles, now rebranded as Curtis Motorcycles, but that's a separate story, as a company famous for producing highly limited and wildly distinctive bikes. The HellCat is no exception, featuring a thundering 2,163cc V-twin carved from 6,061 aircraft-grade aluminum. The monster churns out about 121 horsepower and at an almost shocking 145 pound-feet of torque. With that kind of torque, the HellCat can thunder away from a stoplight like nobody's business. And guess who decided to ride it right in front of the paparazzi at the Mission Impossible 3 premiere? You guessed it, Tom Cruise. The moment he rolled up, fans and cameras went wild. The HellCat is lovingly described as quintessentially American, and is also considered bulletproof in reliability. People say if you want a rolling piece of mechanical art that'll turn heads at every corner, you go Confederate. Cruise, never one to do things halfway, shelled out a reported $65,000 for the privilege of owning one. It's definitely not a modest purchase, but that's part of the HellCat mystique. Let's shift gears to a more classic-inspired machine in Cruise's stable, the Triumph Thruxton. Triumph's Thruxton line stands at the crossroads of vintage and modern, blending sporty cafe racer styling with everyday practicality. Tom apparently first encountered a Thruxton while working on a film set, Some claim it was a promotional synergy between him and the brand. Others say he just fell in love with them, how it handled. In any case, the Thruxton he ended up with houses an 865cc parallel twin that outputs around 69 horsepower, nice, and 53 pound-feet of torque. It can top out at roughly 115 miles per hour, which might seem modest compared to some of the other scorchers on this collection. But its retro charm is undeniable. The best part is the riding comfort, something that can't always be said for pure sport bikes. And if you're zipping around LA or cruising up the coast, comfort can be the difference between a quick spin and a truly memorable ride. Of course, we can't forget another beast that Tom famously rode in his blockbuster Mission Impossible Rogue Nation, the BMW S1000RR. The bike's reputation precedes it, thanks to formidable track performances and numerous championship wins. Originally intended as a limited-run production of 1,000 units, the S1000RR was so successful that BMW ended up selling as many as enthusiasts could handle. And with stats like a 999cc inline-4 engine pumping out nearly 199 horsepower and around 83 pound-feet of torque. Who can blame the fans? It can blast from 0 to 60 miles per hour in roughly 2.4 seconds and run a quarter mile in 10 seconds flat. That is supremely quick by any standards. And yes, Tom Cruise was so smitten with its performance on the set of Rogue Nation that he ensured one found its way into his personal garage. Seriously, after racing around on camera, who wouldn't want to relive the adrenaline rush on their own time? Next up, we have the Triumph Speed Triple, another piece of nostalgia from the Mission Impossible 2 era. This Street Fighter-style machine is known for its distinct dual headlights and punchy engine. The older version that Cruise owns, commonly referred to as a 955cc inline triple, delivers about 110 horsepower and 71.5 pound-feet of torque, which was very impressive when it first hit the roads and still respectable now. The Speed Triple has always been the ultimate hooligan bike: minimal fairings, upright stance, big torque. It's the kind of motorcycle you could see yourself riding through city streets or carving canyon roads while wearing that signature Tom Cruise grin. No stunt double needed, obviously. Heading into another BMW highlight, the BMW RnineT Scrambler. This modern classic merges a vintage Scrambler aesthetic with the brand's reliable engineering. In Mission Impossible Fallout, we see Tom careening through crowded European streets on a bike that looks old school but is thoroughly modern under the hood. The RnineT Scrambler's 1170cc boxer engine usually makes around 110 horsepower and roughly 85 pound-feet of torque, a combination that delivers smooth power delivery and a distinct exhaust note. Of course, Cruise had to push it to its limits, and that did include a crash while filming. Thankfully, neither the actor nor the bike was permanently down for the count. And rumor has it he happily added this battered but still impressive machine to his personal collection post-shoot. Things get even more interesting with the Triumph Bonneville Scrambler that Cruise used in Mission Impossible 3. This is a fun bit of trivia. The Bonneville Scrambler model we see in the film technically didn't exist yet in Triumph's production lineup. The brand started producing the Scrambler version about a year after the film came out. The movie bikes, there were 5 of them, featured that 1960s vintage look, but with modern technology woven in. Air-cooled parallel twin 865cc displacement, around 54 horsepower and 51 pound-feet of torque, plus some modifications to capture the golden era styling that blended seamlessly with the high-octane action. After filming, one of those cinematic unicorns went to auction, and guess who placed the winning bid? Tom, I Do My Own Stunts Cruise, of course, reportedly for close to $30,000. Safe to say that was a solid investment for someone who loves movie memorabilia and the rush of a quality ride. Now, if there's one movie lore bike that everyone remembers from the 1980s, it's the Kawasaki GPZ900R in the original Top Gun. Picture a young Cruise as Maverick speeding down the runway, trying to keep pace with an F-14 Tomcat. That iconic scene launched the GPZ900R into instant superstardom. For its day, that bike was unbelievably quick, an inline-4 with a displacement close to 908cc. Some variations had slightly different specs, producing about 115 horsepower and near 63 pound-feet of torque. It was also one of the first production bikes to feature liquid cooling and a 16-valve head. Kawasaki slapped the Ninja brand on it, effectively giving birth to a lineage that still dominates modern sport bike talk. For the Top Gun Maverick sequel, the GPZ gave way to the Ninja H2, but the original continues to evoke nostalgia among fans. Naturally, Tom made sure to secure one of these legendary rides for his home garage. Finally, let's talk about the crown jewel of Cruise's motorcycle collection, the Vyrus 987 C3 4V. This Italian marvel is borderline science fiction. The brand, Vyrus, is a boutique maker that custom builds each bike to fit the buyer's exact body type, riding style, and personal preferences. That means Cruise's 987 is literally tailored to him, which might make it a bit awkward for anybody else to try to ride. It's powered by a Ducati 1198cc V-twin engine that can produce up to 180 horsepower in its standard form, but there's also a supercharged variant pushing over 200 horsepower. The big talking points here are its ultra-lightweight design, around 154 kilograms or roughly 340 pounds, and the hub-center steering system that sets it apart from virtually every traditional motorcycle. This advanced setup contributes to improved stability and unique handling dynamics, so riding it feels entirely different compared to conventional forks. What also makes the 987 so extravagant is its data acquisition system, which can adapt to the rider's inputs and style in real time. That's right, the bike learns from the person who's riding it, presumably making Tom an even more unstoppable force on two wheels. When Cruise introduced this futuristic masterpiece at his 51st birthday celebration, it naturally made headlines. The price tag? Rumors range around $130,000 or higher, solidifying it as one of the priciest and most exclusive bikes in the world. So, after hearing about this astonishing lineup, which bike stands out the most to you? Are you partial to the raw torque of the Confederat HellCat? Do you lean toward the speed and heritage of the BMW S1000RR? Or does that once futuristic oblivion Honda CRF450X capture your imagination because of its movie prop factor? Let everyone know your favorites in the comments section. And if you haven't already, make sure to like and subscribe and tap that notification bell. You won't want to miss any upcoming showcases of world-class automobiles, motorcycles, and maybe even the occasional private aircraft owned by Hollywood's elite.